They knew exactly where to find it. Teacher Linda Belcher, many of you remember her. Carmen Durazo, some of you would remember her as Tiny, of course. And she's also a teacher working right now on what we call a service learning project. And our new principal, Nancy Merino, Calexico High School principal. And I think that's the only. Hilda Aguilar Flores, who works in our clerical staff in the attendance office over at Calexico High School. And I think that's the only staff from Calexico High School that we have. John Moreno works at one of the elementary schools.
Our special guests were introduced. One of the main things about tonight was the discovery of where the name Ward came from. I must confess, I was born and raised in Calexico. Didn't know anything about this Ward Field, maybe picked up a few papers in the last 10 or 15 years and would always see Ward Field. And not knowing what it is, I wanted to find out more about where the name came from. So just through some conversation with my folks, they said, well, it's named after the fellow killed back in the 30s. And that's all I knew. Of course, my dad knew the first name Willis. Willis Ward, a little booklet that's been given to all the players and all the others, gives you the 3 articles of the Friday night in November where Willis apparently is injured. He's taken to the hospital, and there's a newspaper article confirmed, and also Mr. Uraldi. At the conclusion of that game, the team was notified that Willis passed away. He was 18 years old at the time. And that story really kind of struck me because my dad was a close friend to a Whit Ward, who would be Willis's cousin. And so I immediately called Whit in Northern California. Whit then said, well, you know he has relatives in San Diego. And I said, well, who are they? And he said, well, he has a nephew, Monroe Cofer. And Monroe, or Sonny, as we call him, was able to be here tonight. And this would be Willis's nephew.
Coach was sitting in the middle, calling the names of the team that was going to start again. And he came to the tackle position. Willis Ward jumped up and said, I want to play, Coach. The coach said, no, you're not ready. And he answered him, I would rather die than miss this game. It was a very crucial game. It was a tough game against El Centro. That thought has rung my mind for many, many years. A boy who would give his life for his school.
Lupito is Coach Alonzo, but he's not going to talk just yet. But we do welcome Ward Field's first coach.
Fine. I am in a tie there with Danny Villarreal. I never would have played football had it not been for Danny, who was such a great start, so they ordered a special helmet for him. Luckily, I came along.
Size 8. Manny Duron.
It's nice to be among good friends, good atmosphere, and the coach Alonzo, and everybody in general.
Bruce Carrillo.
Yes, I'd like to say a few words of behalf of Coach Alonzo. Coach Alonzo got here right out of college. He went to the University of Arizona State, and he was a mean mother. I know that the guys that were the year before, which was 56 and 57, really went through hell with it. Because he was trying to prove that he could still do it. And he used to knock the hell out of it. I felt sorry for him. By the time he got to us, he was a little tired.
Nothing, just
Pat.
glad to be here.
Good to have you, Dale. Walt Dickerson?
I remember Coach Alonzo, the first basketball game we were at, and I think it was senior picture day the next Monday or something or other, and I believe the gentleman there in a maroon shirt had to have his hair cut all off. Great memories. It's good to be here.
Thank you, Royal. Raymond Dickerson.
The only thing was, if you can remember, after we left UCLA USC game on the bus, what the smell was like.
You might forget us together like this. It's great to see you coaching me.
I think if I swing around, Artie Montejano.
I just want to say that I'm very pleased to have been part of this team, part of the football tradition of Calexico. I think we can all agree that Coach Alonzo made a tremendous difference in our lives. And all I can say is thank you, Coach.
Jimmy Chu.
He helped me through junior and senior. And I'm always there on time, so they helped me when I got out of school. Everywhere I went, jobs, anywhere I went, I'm always on time.
I don't know what to call the next gentleman.
Probably SOB, coffee, whatever you want.
Ernie Morales or Toribio Flores.
Take your pick. It's a deal. Anyway, I don't have much to say other than I remember we went to the playoffs.
Sure.
And they beat the hell out of us. Something that's unusual. They beat the third time, first time they had the ball, the second time they had the ball, third time they had the ball. Was it the fourth time also?
Yeah.
The third time did they make a touch on the fifth?
It was a long night.
I think I got the third straight by the It was the only good thing. We went to see USC, UCLA play.
The game would have turned out better had we not stayed at the Carlotta Hotel.
Miniki, would you like to share about the Carolina?
What game, huh?
I'll tell that story.
About our few players and the energy levels.
Let's see, I understand kickoff is at 7:30, so let's try and get out of here. But I want to have John Moreno and Vic update us on what we're supposed to do at halftime at the game.
Well, basically, my name is John Moreno, and I also Calexico alumni. I'm related to Robert, I'm related to Ruben and Vic, and we're all great supporters of high school athletics here in Calexico. Anyway, at halftime, also Vic and I, we work on the radio, so if you ever get a chance to listen to us, even though you don't go to the games in the future, we'll be on the radio. Anyway, at halftime, you all have filled out a green sheet there, and you will give those to Mike. And we'll allow you to come down to the bench there, everybody, including Tito and Sonny. And I'm going to introduce all of you to come out, starting with the centers, the guards, the tackles, the ends, the backs, the quarterback, and finally Coach Alonzo. And then we plan to have a moment of silence for the missing 7, as well as for Willis Ward, the Garnet Angel, as he is referred to in Mike's writings. And then after that, I believe we play the fight song, and then we'll form a human tunnel for the returning of the 97 players. The siren will go off. The fire department's going to be going to be at that end of the field, which is the north end. I'm sorry? I think it's just going to be the 57 team of the cheerleaders and songwriters. We looked at that logistically and it didn't seem to be working. So
About the growth from the green jacket.
you can check with them after.
Did you have anything to say?
Okay, I'll just say a few things.
Okay. Because we're on the clock.
Okay, I know we're on the clock. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for being here, because I was 6 years old at the time when we moved over to that field. And I remember I was a young boy at 4 and 5 when Danny Villanueva was the star of his heyday, etc. But growing up in a neighborhood on Heber Avenue where Nicky was the quarterback and having an uncle like Ruben as his receiver, in a sense, made me aware of the significance of that of football, and as Robert pointed out, how important it was in our neighborhood. A big thrill for me and my older brothers was waiting after the game and running out to the field to try to get that souvenir chin strap that the varsity players would give to the young boys that would run out in the field to give to us as a memento. And that was a big thrill for all of us. Plus playing in the end zone with the cups during football game. Some of you may remember it, when you put it your ways. Of significance tonight, you mentioned that Richard Gonzalez is the coach, a homeboy coming back, so to speak. But coaching on the other side of the field is the All-Valley center of that 1957 squad who played for Hopeville, Marv Wood. So somebody who played against him then, and now he's the head coach for Calexico High School. He's been there for 20 years, and that's a whole product also coming back. So the game
that means he knows how to lose to Calexico.
Right. The game has added significance because it also means something special to Mars to see you guys get introduced at halftime. So now I'd like to thank all
Is there
of
any way
you.
we can get him to join us and he doesn't go in with the players?
This game between Hopewell, it's the longest consecutive running game, at least in Southern CIF football, if not in the state of California. This will be, and I don't know how many, but it's about the 70th consecutive season that Calexico High School and Hopewell have played each other, and it's the longest one in Southern California and possibly in the state of California. So it's got that kind of historical significance to it. A couple of other things though. Rudy, who played in that 56 team, and I guess that was your first year, and I said, you know, it looks like they're going to be able to bring Coach Alonzo back. And my brother, his eyes got big, and I'm not exaggerating, my brother's 58 years old, and his eyes got big, and he got this ashen looking. He was an SOB. Coach, I would like you to pick two of the players, and before the game starts, I want you and two of the players to join our captains and go off with a coin toss. It's part of the coin toss at the very beginning of the game. We'd be honored to have the three of you as honorary captains. So,
Thank you. My dad was a 16-year-old freshman when Ward was a senior, and when he was injured, he was sent in to replace him as tackle. And when he did return, he was given Ward's uniform with his pants, and at the time the pants had a name on them. He was milking, and he had to take Ward's name off it, and felt troubled but also inspired by it. This is a very special occasion for many reasons. We all have very personal memories of Dick Alonzo. Fresh out of college, a lot of experience. He had been in trucking, driven trucks all over the country. You look at his, I didn't think of this at the time, but you look at his photograph now, there's something dramatic, handsome, movie star kind of quality to him. But he was also, for the guys especially, tough. He was really tough. He was really committed. He was passionate. You didn't just play football, you were passionately engaged in football. You weren't just friends, you were passionately committed to each other. It wasn't just your buddies on the football team, it was those guys on the football team, and we're remembering one tonight, Hector Flores, who had very troubled lives. But somehow, despite all the chaos in his life, Hector was on the football field. Always there, tremendously committed, injured, he was always there. He reached out, and he reached out in town also. He has very special meaning to me because I had never heard of Dartmouth College. And Dartmouth College sent a letter with a postcard to Calexico High School asking if there were any good athletes who were also good students. And he returned that card with, and that got the ball rolling, and as I was recruited by many places. And on behalf of all of us who were here and those who aren't here, this really small token, but very special token of our appreciation to Coach Alonzo.
Mother answered, I said, Nick here? She said, no. I go, she's in the hospital. No, I said, he's out with his friends. Anyhow, I'm pleased to be here. I left Calexico, and I thought I had a better position, and probably did, but it went to something better. I went to junior college up in Stockton. I went to Downey in '59, and from '60 on, I was up at junior college, and I've been there ever since. And I live in Stockton and retired. I haven't had any illnesses, but I've had lots of operations. In fact, when I went through this place at the airport, he says, "You got a bad knee?" "Yeah, I got a replacement piece of metal in there." So I just had a knee replacement, but it's doing well. Anyhow, thank you all very much for this beautiful gift, and the fact that you kind of said some nice things about me and some bad things. I tell you, that was the toughest young guy we had out there, Jimmy G. That was really inspired everything. Hey, Jim.
Vikings, tonight's broadcast being brought over the airways from the Canadian Rockies to the Sea of Cortez on mighty KICO Radio 1490. This is Vic Carrillo with color commentary, along with play-by-play.
Home of the Calexico Bulldogs. Home fields are backyards
in a game against the Central Spartans here at the old gridiron located on Blair Avenue in Calexico.
And that's right, we see a lot of old faces out here tonight from that class of 1957. You said starting with Nicky de Necochea, who I think will be one of the honorary captains of tonight's game, along with, I don't know, maybe Mike Charles and Coach Dick Alonzo.
That's right. More known as Nicky de Necochea, after completing high school in the class of 58, well, hurt his back. Later on, did graduate studies abroad, as well has been the assistant to the provost at Stanford, later was the dean of admissions at Brown University, and now is working for Univision in Los Angeles.
That's right, and what's nice, we're a proud alumni to have all these past Bulldogs from the 50s, and even... Singing of our national anthem as we will get started with a football game in just under 5-6 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's ball game bringing the top two quarterbacks in the Imperial Valley. Calexico's own Michael Vargas, a senior leading the passing strength of Michael Vargas and his right fine core of receivers headed by Richard Alonzo, along with Alonzo Torres, Luis Estrada, and Izzy Cristian, as the maroon-clad Calexico Bulldogs now taking the field to the support and cheering of the Calexico Bulldog faithful.
That's right. But tonight elsewhere, there's a lot of Valley football going on, as the Central Spartans, who are 0-2, will take on Charter Oak of Covina, and they've got to travel about 4 hours up there. Charter Oak is a Division VI school, and it's going to be tough for the Spartans, who lost to Palm Desert last week 14-7. They racked up 334 total yards, but they turned the ball over 8 times, and as a result, they came on the short end of the stick. Martin rushed for 11 carries and 131 yards. 530 yards to Cathedral City. 87 of those yards were rushing, 127 yards passing. So they look like they got a balanced attack. Kurt Rubin went 12 for 56 in the rush, and Tyler Reese went 6 for 18 and 72 yards. We play Brawley at Brawley on Halloween night. Cetis is going to Imperial. Cetis is 0-1. We don't know much about them, but however, we do know a lot about the Imperial Tigers, who are 3-0, Vic. They beat Mountain Empire 28-7. Robert Thomas is number 3 in the nation in the top of the game. We're getting a capacity crowd here, and the Bulldog fans are filling up the bleachers fast. The Hopewell Vikings have their captains out there, Joe Marine and Joe Marine Jr.
Tonight's referee, headed along by Gary White and Stan Mullins.
Coming up to the press box and write it down for us.
Tonight's ball game, ladies and gentlemen, brings some of the Imperial Valley statistical leaders. As we mentioned, passing, top-ranked quarterback Michael Vargas, second-ranked quarterback Joe Aiton. At the receiving end, Richard Alonzo leads the Imperial Valley receivers with 17 receptions for 283 yards. Among the interception leaders, we also have defensive back Izzy Christian.
Bulldog football. As we're getting underway, kicking the ball is Eric Felstead for the Vikings. It's picked up. Number 35
at the goal line. A pickup of one play there on a pass attempt as Aiton is now 2 for 2.
Hit me on that one. First quarter. Why do I say first inning? Baseball season. They're going to give it this time to Adrian Rosas, crossing the 40, up to the 45, up to midfield now. He's on the right sideline. He's knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line in home field territory. Joe Marine. Mikey Vargas takes it up to the line of scrimmage. Touchdown! Calexico! Who's the first one to score? That's right. Mikey Vargas getting behind center. Marco Alvarado. Go for the Vikings. Visit their showroom and ask about the red carpet. Remember, Robinson Ford had the best service out to the sale hogs. Christian picks it up at the 15, crossing the 20, up to the 25, the 30, looking for Sarum, going to the right now. He's at the 40, could go all the way, crossing midfield, knocked out of bounds at the Hopefield 46-yard line. A great comeback.
He comes out as he calls signals. Marco Alvarado, the first man out of the huddle, as he directed.
Back is Aiton, looking for some receivers. A sack by number 54 for the Bulldogs. Daniel Fox.
This is Bulldog football. Helping Valley real estate needs, be it residential, rental properties, or land purchases.
Dropping back, feels a little pressure, rolling out to the right. Will he get away? He's crossing the 20. He's up to the 30. Going out of bounds at the 32-yard and pushes us around. Mention old football stadiums and trigger memories of another era where other great players left their cleat marks, where bonehead plays were executed with precision. 60 played 4 years of football at Calexico as a center and quarterback. All Valley 1958-59. Junior year linebacker, senior year quarterback. 37 consecutive games on the starting lineup. Let's hear it for Chike, Mike Charles. From San Diego, a deputy marshal, class of 1958, played guard for 2 years for the Bulldogs. His other sport was basketball, where he scored 48 points against Imperial, Robert Cota. From Mountain Home, Idaho, retired, played 4 years for Calexico, graduated in 1960 as a guard and right halfback. In 59, he made All-Valley as a right halfback. His worst year was the first game against Holville in 57. In 58, he ran a 60 to 70-yard touchdown run. He's known by Ray. Let's hear it for Charles Dickerson. From Santa Ana, California, played football for 3 years for Calexico High on defense. Class of 1960, El Chucky, George Cordova. From Orange County, California, a guard and a center. Let's hear it for Mick Manuel Duron. From Calexico, retired, class of 1959. They know him as Lips, Joe, Ernesto Cabanillas, now known as Toribio Flores. From Calexico, from the class of 1957, now working for the State Department of Corrections as a halfback, Art Montejano. From Mesa, Arizona, in the class of 1961, played 4 years for Calexico as a quarterback and safety. All Valley 1959. Let's hear it for Wink Wink, C. Dale Weber. From Lakeside, California, an electric foreman from the class of 59 as a fullback. Lost his pants, initiation as a freshman on the varsity team. Let's hear it for Cat Mitt, Jim Dickerson. From El Centro, retired salesman at Sears in the class of 1959, also a center. El Fernie, Fernando Velazquez. From Pasadena in Southern California, Edison, a deputy director, end and defensive end. Let's hear it for the great Nicky Fernando de Necochea. From Calexico, retired businessman in the class of 1958, 2 years of football at Calexico as a right guard, one of the toughest players the Bulldogs have ever known. Let's hear it for Chino James Chu. From the class of 1961, and now from El Centro, a maintenance supervisor for the El Centro School District, 4 years of Calexico Bulldog varsity football. All Valley in 58, 59, 60. Let's hear it for Royal Dickerson. From Calexico in the class of 1958, retired U.S. Postal Service. Gained the most yards against the Blythe game. Let's hear it for Willie Acuna. From San Diego, California, a contractor, former businessman of Calexico, All Valley 56, 57, and 58, Ruben Carrillo. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Coach Alonzo, the head football coach for the Bulldogs in 1957. Arizona State. We have the pleasure tonight of having a 1933 graduate who played right guard alongside Willis Ward. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 years of football. Put your hands together for Fito Adolfo Iturralde. Let's hear it for the 1957 football team. I'd like to invite everyone to honor Willis Ward in a moment of silence here at this game dedicated to him. And let's hear it now for the 1997 and 57 Bulldogs of Calexico High. Gloria B.O.P., Mary Jane Rodriguez. Who's the other one? And Marta Fierro were the cheerleaders way back when. Let's hear the fight song from the high school band.